So, I want to go ahead and officially start the call tonight. I want to welcome you to these live Zoom calls we're doing every Thursday night at 6:30 p.m. We're going to be talking in, really about three main areas. Um, Talking about protecting your health, securing your wealth, and then we talk about protected income. So when we talk about protecting your health, so for years, I've helped people with Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage plans. We're going to have some nights where we talk about the subject of long-term care. A lot of people, as they get older, have to have some type of care, whether in the home, in our nursing home. So we're going to be talking about that in weeks to come. In fact, next week, we're talking about what Medicare does not cover. And that's one of the main things. Medicare does not cover long-term care. And we're also going to be talking about securing your wealth. I'm a big believer that even though the market has been on a tear over these last 10 years, I think we all know we need to protect our wealth, especially if we've built up a sizable account. We need to protect it. And then protected income, one of the big things that I do, I feel like, help people with is, especially being the fact that these pensions are almost a thing of the past. I do run across state retirees and sometimes city retirees that have pensions, but more and more people don't have those. So I'm going to stop sharing just here for a second. And again, I hope everybody's doing well tonight. Looks like I've got a few people here. That's great. So let me read to you. This is an introduction. I'm going to have a little presentation, about a 10-minute presentation for you tonight. It's titled The Purpose of Money. And so, tonight we're going to talk about something that we've all worked our lives for: money. We got to have money to supplement Social Security, to hopefully help us combat inflation, these rising costs. I just talked to one of my clients today, and we talked about, unfortunately, that the way these Medicare premiums are going in 2026, most people are paying over $200 a month for their Medicare. By the year 2030, it's probably going to be over $300 per month for most people. Now, some people have higher incomes. They've got to pay a lot more than that. Some people have lower income and no assets, and they can sometimes get that Medicare premium waived. But unfortunately, that's something that's going up. Co-pays are going up with these Medicare plans that we do. So there's some good things. I'm looking forward to one day going on Medicare. My health insurance premium is rather high, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. But we're going to be talking tonight about what is the purpose of money. Many people believe that one account can do everything. It can grow for them, can provide safety, can provide income, and also can be liquid, can be accessible. But rarely can you find an investment that does it all. And I'm not here to tell you there is one. I'm a believer that there is not a perfect investment. Just like you would not use a hammer to screw in a nail, you shouldn't expect every dollar in your retirement to do the same thing. There are purposes for different where you have your money. We're going to be looking at four primary purposes again: growth, liquidity, safety, and income. We'll talk about the strengths and weaknesses of different places where you can hold your money. And, my hope is at the end of our time together, you'll have a better understanding of whether your retirement dollars are working together. or whether some of your money is being asked to do a job it simply wasn't designed to do. All right, so let me share my screen again. Right here. There we go. There we go. That looked a little weird there for a second. So again, each week we're going to be talking about health, protecting your health, securing your wealth, protected income strategies. Tonight we're going to be talking about wealth, securing your wealth. And again, my name is Brad Rhodes. Been working with retirees for over 30 years now. I love what I do. I do enjoy going on vacations and playing golf. And sometimes by the end of the week, I get a little tired. But when Monday rolls back around, man, I'm ready to roll. So I appreciate my clients, people I get to talk to on a day-to-day basis. I've learned so much from retirees, their different stories, and how they've been successful. This is a book I wrote called Protecting Your Retirement. It became an Amazon bestseller. I'm humbled by that. At the end of the presentation, we'll talk about how to get my book. Be more than happy to get it over to you. So again, we're talking tonight about the optimize. I call this whole thing the optimized retirement. We're going to be talking about your wealth tonight, securing your wealth. Let's jump into the presentation. The purpose of money. Hope you enjoy. Okay, tonight's presentation is titled The Purpose of Money. Why every dollar needs a job in retirement. Growth, liquidity, safety, income. Understanding what each dollar should be doing for you. So the point I'm trying to get across to you is that every dollar needs a job. It's not as hard as it may sound. An illustration I give is, if you needed to tighten a bolt, you wouldn't grab a hammer. You'd grab the proper tool. And the same is true with retirement. The biggest mistake many retirees make is asking one account to do everything. So this is titled The 4 Jobs of Money. If you think about it, there's no single investment that's good at all 4. If something excels at one purpose, it usually sacrifices another. Every financial decision involves trade-offs. You rarely, if at all, can get maximum growth, maximum safety, maximum liquidity, and maximum income all in one place. Again, there's always trade-offs. So take growth, for example. Growth, we all want growth, of course, with our money. Growth, we want to grow our purchasing power. Good examples of growth, of the growth bucket is, stocks, mutual funds, ETFs, real estate. The advantages here are you have hopefully long-term return. You keep ahead of inflation. You're building wealth, right? The disadvantages sometimes are market risk, volatility, sequence of return risks, basically saying that depending on when the market goes up or down, and depending on when you start taking money out of those investments, if you're taking out money out of the market, for example, while the market's down, that can be almost devastating, if not totally devastating. So growth is wonderful until you need the money during a market decline. Again, that's what I'm talking about, the trade-off. You got good and you got bad. When climbing the mountain, market drops are usually temporary. You still have a paycheck coming in most cases, so you keep buying. But as we've talked about in other videos, other presentations, when you're coming down the mountain, these risks completely change.
So let's talk about liquidity. We all want access to our money, right? You have money available today. Examples of money that's considered liquid: your checking account, savings accounts, money market accounts. Money that if you needed or if you had an emergency, you could go right down to the bank, pull out 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 without any problem. That's what we're talking about with liquidity. You have easy access. This is talking about like having an emergency fund. We all need emergency funds. Very flexible. But again, there's trade-offs. The disadvantages are typically very little growth. Inflation slowly reduces your purchasing power. Imagine keeping your entire retirement in a savings account. You'd sleep pretty good, right? But eventually, inflation is going to win. That's why you don't want to have all your money in the liquidity bucket. You need a portion of your money there, but not all of it. Safety. So the goal here is protect your principal. Examples, I guess, would be treasuries, CDs, fixed products, things like that, annuities. The advantage is you have a peace of mind, you have principal protection, and you definitely have less worry. You sleep better at night. Disadvantages of having too much money in the safety bucket: you're usually going to have lower long-term returns. You may not keep up with inflation. Safety definitely has tremendous value, especially after you've already won the game. Income. Good examples of guaranteed income are Social Security, pensions, income-producing investments, protected lifetime income strategies. The advantage is you have predictable cash flow. You have confidence. If these are true guaranteed sources, you can never outlive them. That's a pretty good advantage. The disadvantages often require setting aside money specifically for income. So what I'm trying to get across to you guys is retirement is not about having the biggest account. In this case, it's about creating dependable income. So what happens when money has the wrong job? So emergency money invested aggressively. Okay, what if you needed that money during a market crash? On the other end of the spectrum, if you've got your money for growth sitting in savings, well, it's just sitting there. It's not doing a lot of money for you. So money in the bank or just a small savings account is usually not good for growth. It also has less buying power. For example, if you've got growth in the guaranteed income bucket, well, those sometimes don't mix. This causes stress, uncertainty, poor timing decisions. It may not be that your money is failing. It's simply because it's being asked to do the wrong job. Retirement works best when money has different assignments. Different dollars, different jobs. So here are some of the issues that people are facing. We're living in a good time because people are living longer. Many retirements now last 25 to 35 years. So your greatest financial risk may not be dying too early. It may be living a very long life. So having an income bucket becomes more valuable the longer you live. Again, having money last throughout your retirement. Protected money is not about making you rich. Protected income is really about removing uncertainty, having confidence, predictability, and peace of mind. Money for growth, money for emergencies, money for protection, money for lifetime income. Every dollar should have a clearly defined purpose. When each piece is doing its own job, the entire plan becomes stronger. So let me ask you a few questions. Do you know which dollars are for growth? Which dollars are for income? Which dollars are for emergencies? Which dollars are protected? So I want to end with an illustration. All right. Imagine you're building a championship football team. You know, you wouldn't recruit 11 quarterbacks. You need offensive linemen, receivers, running backs, defenders, and specialists. Each player has a different role, but together they make a winning team. Retirement works the same way. Your savings shouldn't all be quarterbacks. Some dollars should be growing. Some should be liquid for emergencies. Some should be protected from market losses. And some should provide dependable income every month. When every dollar has the right assignment, your retirement plan is stronger, more resilient, and gives you greater confidence no matter what the market does. The goal is not to find one perfect investment. There's not one. The goal is to build a retirement where every dollar has a purpose. And that's exactly what we help clients do during a retirement purpose review. We help you determine which dollar should grow for you, which should stay liquid, which dollar should be protected, and which dollar should produce retirement income. Thanks for listening to the presentation. We'll talk to you on the other side.
All right. So I'm going to repeat something I said in that video that, you know, retirement's not about finding this perfect investment. It's basically about making sure, you know, every dollar has the right purpose. Some of your money should be focused on growth for sure. Some of it you should have somewhere safe for emergencies. You never know. I mean, you could have need a roof repair, as you know. You know, heating and air, your heat pump. Couldn't remember what I was wanting to say there. So we need emergency money. Some of our money needs to be protected from market risk. Again, we've been living in just such a great time of market just going up, 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 up. But is that always going to continue? We do live in a volatile world, and money in the market, it does have risk to it. I just like to remind people of that. And then lastly, some of your money should be in an area that will create guaranteed income for you. So that's very important. So I would encourage you guys to meet with me. You know, if you've got a good financial advisor, I'm not trying to say let's change everything he or she is doing, but sometimes it's good to get a second opinion. You don't have to have all your money in one area. You need to make sure, you know, where your money is, that it's lining up with your values and your risk tolerance. So I would love to meet with you. I've got a ton of these books. So some people say, oh gosh, I can go buy your book on Amazon, and that's fine. But I would love to send you a book, Protecting Your Retirement. I mean, I think that's what it's all about. I'm going to be doing one of these Zoom calls I'm going to be doing here the next few weeks. It's going to be talking about a book I read, not my book, but a book I read probably 30 years ago, a financial book that I'm telling you, it had a major impact in my life and some steps I took. And it was pretty simple, pretty common sense, but I started doing what that book told me. I'm 59 years of age now. I'm in a whole different place than I think I would have been had I not taken that advice. And so I'm not trying to tell you that my book is like going to be you know, the end all and be all and just the greatest thing you've ever read. But there's a couple of chapters in this book that I bet you're not getting this information from your bank. You're definitely not getting it from your typical financial advisor, how to make sure your money lasts, how to create income for the rest of your life. I feel like I'm getting on a little bit of a commercial here. I don't want to come across that way, but let me know. Let me move here to the next screen. So if you'll go to my website, bradroachfinancial.com, all you got to do is click on the contact button. That'll take you over here to this screen where you can put in your name and email, but better yet, schedule an appointment with me. Get on my calendar. I'm pretty low key. If we talk for maybe 5 or 10 minutes and you tell me your situation, I may very well tell you, you're on the right track. I would just continue doing what you're doing. But there are sometimes some areas that I feel like I can help people. Not every time, but if there's an area I think I can help you get on the right track, or maybe you've got a question, or maybe there's something you've been wondering about, get on my calendar. Ask me for my book. I'll send you my book. So that's about it. Now, I did want to talk about, again, each Thursday night at 6:30, I'm doing a live Zoom call. And next week, August 13th, the topic is going to be what Medicare does not cover. Now, most things you see online or things you get in the mail, it's all the great benefits of these Medicare plans. You know, dental, free membership to the Y, all this great stuff. But what a lot of people aren't talking about is what Medicare does not cover. Sometimes people are shocked to find out that Medicare does not cover certain things. So we're going to talk about that. I would encourage you to tune in. And again, my name is Brad Rhodes. I appreciate the time you've spent here with me tonight. These Zoom calls are being recorded. If you go to bradrhodesfinancial.com, you click on the Optimized Retirement, which is right here, bradrhodesfinancial.com, click on the Optimized Retirement. You'll see all the Zoom calls I've been doing and all the ones to come. We also have a YouTube channel. You can go there. If you just simply go to my my Facebook business page, which is under my name, Brad Rhodes, you will see these videos that are being recorded. So hope everyone has a good night. I'm going to quit rambling now. Thanks for your time. We'll talk to you next time.